then they've got a big fight for the Champions League qualification this season. How crucial could that be in terms of keeping the key players at the club, preventing any more sales this summer and beyond?
I think if you look at how cautious they've been in terms of PSR,
Yeah,
they didn't do any deals at all in the January window. That hints that they must be quite close on PSR again, but it also hints they're not taking any chances, which means that they're trying. I think what they're trying to do is set themselves up such that they're not completely dependent upon qualifying for the Champions League. So if for whatever reason they don't make it, it's not completely catastrophic in terms of having to sell players again. Okay, so my reading of it would be they'll be completely fine if they don't qualify for the Champions League, but it will not, on the current structure, without Champions League football, they will not be able to aggressively compete further up the league. So probably don't need to sell, but probably can't particularly buy aggressively. They'll be able to do, I'm not saying they can't do anything. They'll probably be able to do 50 to 75 million pound of investment, because when you break that down as to what the impact of that is on the profit and loss, you obviously pretty much divide it by 5 and then add on the wages. So they'll be able to do something. But in terms of the really meaningful development of the squad, it's completely dependent on getting the Champions League, especially now with the Champions League being worth in excess of £100 million if you can get to, say, the quarterfinals. So if you have a decent stint in that first 10 games in the group stage, you get a decent number of points. Remember, it's about for the sake of discussion, about £2 million per win.
Yeah.
So if you can have a decent run there, and then on top of that, with all of the other, you also get a whole load of other fees as well. City, for example, who've now gone out of had a very poor first 10 games. I mean, almost as bad as you could imagine, but still qualified for the playoff against Real. Probably do something like 60 million quid. So that's pretty much the base that you're going to get. Maybe 50 is the base. And then on the upside, there's another 50 million to play with, maybe even more. If you could get to the semis or the final, you could get even more. But you're talking about, at least 50 and probably at least 70. That makes a huge difference to a club's profitability, especially for a club like Newcastle. Given, if you look at their revenue without Champions League. So, it could be a 20%, 30% increase. So it's big upside if they can qualify, but I don't think it's a disaster if they don't.